Do you have a guitar with a damaged headstock? Accidents can happen and guitars can break. Regardless of the issue, anything can be fixed. In fact, the repair can end up being stronger than the original. So this poor guitar has been giving me problems ever since I got it. I'll show you. So this is the headstock. It's been breaking off. Years ago, it broke off right here and I did a repair on it just by gluing and patching it. Since then, this part gave way and broke off, and obviously that's a very dirty break. So we're not gonna just glue it back together, we have to reinforce it. Some luthiers would just splice a whole new headstock on it, but today I'm going to show you how to repair this and make it even stronger than it was in the beginning. So what we're going to have to do, of course, is first remove the tuning gears. Once it's removed, we have this nice flat surface to work with, and we're going to have to find out if there's anything keeping this brake from coming together with the neck. So let's see if we have a clean joint here. Put that together, and it looks like it'll glue back together. But before we glue it, we are going to put some reinforcements in the wood. So here we go. So the wood you want to use for a spline should be a very strong wood. It should be like a hardwood, very stable hardwood. Rock maple is a very stable hardwood. You can use an exotic wood, but I've found that sometimes there are flaws sometime in the wood. But here's what I found. This is a piece of, 2 pieces of rock maple laminated in between a piece of walnut. I use this for another product that I'm making. This was just a leftover piece. But as you can see, that would make a very strong spline for this neck. So what I want to do is cut a piece that will hold those 2 pieces together. We have to look at the grain of the wood. So we want to use a flat grain on the side like that, because that is more stable. If we used this cross grain, then the maple wouldn't be as stable. These are a lot of things you need to consider. So where I want to cut my piece is pretty much on that flat side. So I'm going to cut a piece of that on the flat side of the maple. It's also flat here and straight grain there. The walnut is less stable than the maple, and I don't particularly know the grain of that walnut as well. I can see that it's kind of lateral on the walnut, but that will be good enough. It's a little more lateral down here, so I'll probably cut my piece right there. I've been utilizing table saws for more than 4 decades. If you're not an experienced woodworker, I strongly suggest that you do not try to cut in this manner. You'll observe that I move cautiously and rest my hand against the fence. Carelessness can cause the wood to become trapped on the blade, pulling your hand towards it. Fear is my friend. So here's my piece I want to use. Very strong piece. The thickness has to be at least the thickness of the neck piece. I made it so that it is a little thicker because I think, well, I'm going to work it down on the top, and maybe I'm going to let it extend off the back a little more to give it more strength. Alright, so we have this. We're going to put it together, and this piece is going to go right in the middle and hold them. First of all, I'm going to knock off this nut because that might get in the way. And we know that the truss rod ends about right here, so we don't want to get into that truss rod area, but we want to get up into the neck as far as we can to give it strength. So this piece here is going to give it enough extension. We can probably avoid that by cutting that way down. And so we're going to temporarily put this together so we can position that piece. Put a couple clamps in there. Make sure it's where it needs to go. Alright, so we're going to position this piece right in the center of the headstock. And then we're going to make a couple scores. On both sides. So we have a mark. And now we know exactly where that needs to go. So now we're going to raise the blade as far as we can to make sure that it makes a good round there, and so we know exactly where to stop on that. Again, do not try this unless you are a professional on the table saw. It would be better to cut it by hand because this is very risky. So let's give it a shot here. It's quite risky to freehand a table saw cut. Again, I move very deliberately, focusing wholly on the task. If you lack many years of experience, there are less hazardous methods to cut wood. Bandsaws are a lot safer, but not as precise, and you'll need to spend more time cleaning the joint, but it's worth it. I've seen many dreadful accidents caused by inexperience and inattentiveness. So now we have a perfect slot for our spline, and I think it's going to hold really good. Let's work it in there. I just realized that you can get an exact fit by first doing the initial gluing of the crack and gluing that on there perfectly, and then we can take a measurement from there to there, flip it over, take a measurement off the top, and transfer those measurements onto this, and we'll get an exact fit. I'm gonna clean up this joint a little bit. I just want to clean out some of this. You don't want any grime in there. You clean out your glue joint a little bit. Anything that's hindering it from coming together all the way. Alright, the glue is dry. So now we have this now comes the task of fitting this on. Now for shaping that, a little two-sided tape is always handy to have around. You can make a little tool. It's kind of like a little file. You can always stick a little sandpaper on some two-sided tape. Make yourself a little shaping tool, see? Like a little rasp. And we can shape can clean the edges of this so it opens up. That is the maximum. Pretty much already there. And bring it over here. It's a little tight here, so we're going to work it out. My little rasp. So I discovered that this top angle has to be the same depth as the thickness. So we have 9/16. So really that top edge needs to be more right here. at 9/16. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm just going to shave this down. Now we can better determine this top angle. So we actually had a deeper angle there. That was our problem. It should go right in there. It's pretty tight. Let's take a look at the other side. Yep. Okay, I think I've finally got it to meet up. Lots of angles to work with here, so we have to make sure we're getting it right. So we're going to make a mark, scribe it right onto that. So there we go. Now I need to make a device to clamp it in the back and to push it from these two sides on the front. So I took a couple little pieces of plywood and I'm going to mark It's all about making little devices. And I'm going to just cut a notch. And this little notch here will be able to put some clamps, clamping the back and then pushing up on the top. So it pushes it up through the guitar. So we're going to start by dry clamping it. Alright, so we're going to put the block in the back. We're going to put the clamp on the top. We're going to put the device here. Always dry clamp before you do your finished product. You know what? I think we only need one. Let's just try it with one. Block and back. Device on top. Make sure everything's lined up. It's time to do the clamp dance. So that's pushing that right up in there. Actually, it's pushing it up there pretty good. Alright, now it's time to glue it. So we want to get this saturated with glue on the inside surface and the outside surface. Glue on the ends. Make sure we have a good glue joint. And we'll put some glue on the piece also. It's regular Tight Bond wood glue. Stuff's magical. It's okay to make a mess because we just wipe it up when we're done. Just got to make sure we got enough glue everywhere. Alright, now that's going to go in there. And just press this right in there. Once we got it in there a little bit, we can wipe up the excess glue. And we got to clamp it before it dries. Alright, looking good. Now, it's time for the clamp dance. Got our little piece there. Sometimes you have to use every part of your body to clamp something. bottom, top. All right. All right, we'll see what happens. Okay, let's have a look. So see, it extends that far in the back and right across the front. That's solid. I don't think we'll do much. Lighter grit, maybe. I saved my pieces of packing foam, and you can make nice little sanding blocks with packing foam. You don't have to use your fingers. And it just gets in there and makes nice contour, smooth surfaces. I might not bother staining this. I just want it to function. It doesn't really, obviously it's been broken so many times that it's not going to look too good. So we have some 220 grit paper here, and we're just kind of roughing it up a little bit. Do a little masking off. So we have that ugly crack there, and that's going to be like mojo, but it's still going to be strong. Strong and ugly. And maybe someday an artist can come in here and fill up that crack and do whatever it takes to make it look pretty, but right now it's going to be fully functional. We'll let that set up just a little bit. Once we let it set up just a little so it's not dripping all over the place, we can start on the back. So now that it's dried, we can just give it a light sanding, especially on the raw wood. Alright, so we got it all back together. Now it's time to put the tuners back on. A good repair is stronger than the original, always. So if this repair is successful, then it is actually stronger. It'll actually be stronger than the original wood. It doesn't look very nice, but that's just a whole other that's a whole other process, is making it, you know, you can do things to it to make it look nice, but I'm doing this for myself, so I don't really care. I just want a guitar that works. This guitar I'm going to give to my daughter, and I want it to be very playable and sturdy, last a long time. And honestly, that's art. To me, that's art. That's mojo on a guitar. That there's a story there. It makes the guitar very unique. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the old strings back on, and we'll make sure this is functioning properly. I want to test the repair without wasting a new set of strings. If it holds under full tension for a couple of weeks without any movement, I'll go ahead and reward it with a new set. And now for the moment of truth here. Alright, so that is full tension. It's holding. There's nothing even moving on it. It's a solid neck. Even though it doesn't look so pretty, but that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. This guitar has a story to tell. I'm going to use a hard pick and see. So this repair should be better than the original wood. It should last longer. It should endure a lot more wear and tear. And that's it. That's how you repair a hopeless headstock for a guitar, other than just replacing the headstock. Thank you for enduring through this whole video, and I really hope that you learned something, some of my trade secrets. If you have, please let me know about it. I appreciate your comments and your criticisms, but this is how I do it on this. So thank you very much.